Well, I'm just finally glad that this is all over now. Yeah. All right. What's going on, folks? Blitzball Champ here. Brand new video. So, this is to cap off the final game of the Carolina Panthers season. Week 17, they have their very last home game against the New Orleans Saints. They lose badly by a score of 42-10. This was a divisional game, and with this loss, Carolina finishes the season at 5-11, 1-5 in the NFC South. Just, you would think that this game would be played with a lot more heart than it was, but it's like they didn't even care. Honestly, it was so bad in the first half. Like, they only got one first down in the first half. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I really just... When it's so bad that you can barely get a first down in a whole half? Like, they didn't even get a first down in the first quarter. Like, really? Not to mention the abysmal numbers from the quarterbacks. Will Greer, which, unfortunately he did get hurt. He got banged up pretty badly, and I believe he suffered either a knee or an ankle injury. But Will Greer only completed one pass. He was 1 of 8, 4 yards, got sacked once, and threw a pick six. Like... And of course, the one pass was to Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Allen came in after he got carted off, and he finished with 25 of 41, 295 yards, got sacked once, and threw a pick. And the only touchdown we got was a rushing touchdown from Christian McCaffrey. Of course, This was the game where Christian McCaffrey made history and became the third running back ever in the NFL, third player to finish a season with 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. He finished this game with 9 carries, 26 yards, and a rushing touchdown, and 7 catches, 72 yards. Pretty much after he got the record, he was pretty much benched for the rest of the game, which is totally understandable. I mean, you don't want to take any chances and risk him getting hurt. But congratulations to Christian McCaffrey. He has really been the only bright spot this entire season for this Carolina Panthers team. Offensive line did terrible. Like, nothing was really clicking on offense. Defense was terrible. Just really, this defense got torched. Drew Brees finished 19 of 30, 253 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara had 8 carries, 39 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Just bad. Like, Latavius Murray and Alvin Kamara just ran all over the defense and just could not stop the Saints' offense. Like, it was that bad. It was already over by halftime anyway, because, at halftime, all they were able to get was a field goal. So, I mean, it's not like the Saints really had to do much. I mean, they had already put in Teddy Bridgewater, like, near pretty much the fourth quarter. So, I mean, there was really no point. But just and of course, Will Greer had a fumble lost. So yeah, it just is just really one way to just put an end to our season. Not to mention the pick six that Will Greer threw was made by AJ Klein, former Carolina Panther. Yeah, so that pretty much added insult to injury. But yeah, it just I'm just glad it's finally over. And it looks like Greg Olson may be saying his final goodbye. And honestly, as much as I would love to have Greg Olson back, I really don't think it's going to happen. All right, I don't think it's going to happen. He's given us 9 seasons. Greg Olson's getting up there in age. I think he's like 33, 34, something like that. He's getting up in age. And realistically, the time has come to where Carolina has a lot of work to do in the offseason. I mean, we pretty much need to just obliterate the coaching staff, start fresh. I mean, we already are in searching for a head coach, which I believe so far we've interviewed Mike McCarthy. So it'll be interesting to see how much time is spent in looking for a coach. But there's a lot of priorities we got to address. So it's been made official that Carolina will get the 7th pick in the first round of the 2020 draft. So pick number 7. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, we'll have to really see what we can get from that. But if you ask me, main priorities are offensive line, defensive line, secondary. Those I really strongly feel like are a priority. Because at the end of the day, regardless of who the quarterback ends up being, whether we get Cam back or not, the offensive line is terrible. It's terrible. Nobody is safe. So this team really needs to put a big focus on rebuilding the O-line. Like, it is urgent that this Carolina Panthers organization puts a lot of focus on the offensive line. Or else the quarterback's going to get killed out there. McCaffrey's going to get killed out there. I mean, thankfully he made it through another successful season where he played well. He played well. That's really the only positive out of it. But this team needs a lot of work done. And not only that, it has also been released. I'll pull this up. So the opponents for the Carolina Panthers have been announced for next season. So let's pull this up because one second. I just had it. But yeah, it's really gonna... Oh, here we go. Panthers 2020 opponents. So, check this out. So we already know that starting with home games, we already know we got the divisional games of the Falcons, Saints, and the Buccaneers. So at home, they will play the Bears, Lions, Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals. So, I mean, pretty much the only playoff team from that group is the Saints. So, who knows? Probably the home games may be fairly easy for next season. But then again, I mean, that totally is going to depend on like how well we do in rebuilding this team in the offseason. And for the away opponents, besides Saints, Falcons, Buccaneers, this is where it gets really, really rough. They got to play the Vikings, who are in the playoffs, the Packers, who are in the playoffs, the Chiefs, who are in the playoffs, the Chargers, and the Redskins. So already right there, that's 4 teams, 4 away games against playoff teams, which are the Saints, Chiefs, Packers, Vikings. So you already know those are going to be tough games. Those are probably going to be the toughest games. And then, when you really think about it, Falcons are going to be tough games as well. I mean, Carolina finished the season 1-5 in the NFC South. The one game we won was against the Bucks in London. So, I mean, realistically, we struggled in the division. Therefore, those are going to be really difficult games. So, oh man, it really, it's going to be tough. Carolina has a lot of work to do. And, Cam Newton got the foot surgery, so, his recovery is really going to be key. But just looking back, very frustrating season. I know we, brought some folks in. We had Gerald McCoy, which he really didn't turn out to be as helpful as I hoped that he would. Just the whole 3-4 defense just did not work for this team. Didn't work for this team. No Ron Rivera, which looks like he might get picked up by the Redskins or another team in need, but I see him getting picked up pretty much soon. But then Perry Fell didn't really do a good job as interim coach. And it's clear in these last 2 games, Will Grier is not ready. He's not ready. He is a long ways from ready. He's thousands and thousands of miles away from ready. We may all thought Kyle Allen was bad, but Will Grier didn't even have a touchdown. Didn't even have a touchdown. So it's bad. He's not ready, and honestly, I mean, I don't know if it's safe to say Will Grier's a bust yet. I mean, I know this was his first year. I know he didn't get much playing time, but struggled in the preseason. Then, in these 2 games, struggled badly. I mean, he started the Colts game and threw 3 picks. He threw a pick 6 in this game. So, I mean, honestly, Will Grier just, I don't know, man. I just really feel that it's possible he might be a bust. He might be a bust, but I'm not gonna think too much about it, because I mean, the team as a whole lost 11 games, 8 of them in a row. And at the end of the day, there are folks out there that say, oh, it would have been much worse if Cam Newton played instead, which is bullcrap. I mean, come on now. Really? Get out of here with that. Just a lot of haters. A lot of Cam hate. And it's really ridiculous considering he, hasn't played this year since week 2. So it's like, come on now. But, it's just, this team needs a lot of help. And, it's going to start with new coach. Need to clean house. We need to really figure out what we're going to do about a lot of the contracts. And just, we need to build from the draft and from free agency. And I really hope that Marty Herney and company will really make a great effort and really getting what we need and getting the type of players that can really help this team. You know, offensive line, defensive line, secondary. Dante Jackson, just honestly, I've lost faith in Dante Jackson. I mean, he can make plays, but he's hard headed and he gets beat all the time. This was Kuechly, despite Kuechly and McCaffrey making the Pro Bowl, this was one of Kuechly's worst years. And I feel like maybe the switch to the 3-4 defense, pretty much made it bad for him. Either way, it's just this isn't good. This isn't good for him. There's no telling if Greg Olsen is coming back. Norv Turner, honestly, I just don't think he's it. I don't think he's it. I don't feel like he's really utilizing the fullness of the play calling, and it definitely showed. It showed this year. Eric Washington as D coordinator doesn't know what he's doing. He's trash. And the fact that he lasted the whole entire season made no sense to me at all. Made no sense. They'll let go of Ron Rivera early, but not Eric Washington. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. But honestly, I'm just glad the season's over. I'm glad the season's over. This season's a dumpster fire. I'm sorry that, it had to end like this for Ron Rivera, but I have no doubt that he'll get picked up in no time by a different team. Cleveland Browns just fired their coach as well, Freddie Kitchens. So they fired him after a 6-10 finish. And I'm pretty sure Jason Garrett's going to get fired. Well, I don't know. I think he's been there long enough. I think he's had enough opportunities. So, yeah, I don't know. But there you go. Carolina Panthers finished the season with 5-11 record, 1-5 in their division, and we will have the 7th pick in round number 1 of the 2020 draft. I just hope Cam gets well and will get back to 100%. Hope this team can get the personnel and the staff necessary to turn this franchise around. All I can say is, once the off season here, it's time to go to work. Keep pounding. Anyway, that's all I have. Comments, thoughts, suggestions, let me know. And thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.